Hey everybody, sorry I've been kind of gone, have some health problems going on. I'll talk about it later in a different video. But I was reading Job 1 the other day. I'm going to go just Job 1 through 5 today because there's something in my study Bible. Because I never used to read the bottom part of my study Bible, like the bottom part of it. So I started doing that here recently and gain a lot more wisdom from it, so stick with me. But this is my favorite, probably one of my favorite chapters or like books in the Bible is Job. In the land of Uz, there's lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and owned 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East. His sons used to hold feast in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their house. This was Job's regular custom. I love the book of Job, first off, because every time I complain in my life or I want to complain in my life, I look at the book of Job, I look at Job's life, and I'm like, I don't have really any reason to complain at all. And if I feel like I'm being done wrong by God, or if I feel like I didn't deserve something, I talk to God about it. I used to not to until I read the book of Job. Like I used to not talk to God when I felt something was wrong, or I felt like I was being wrong done by somebody, or if I felt like I was being treated unequally. But now I talk to God about it because when you talk to God about it, He wants you to talk to Him. That way He can help you through it. Because you don't want to go talk behind His back. That's not right. Even it's just like you don't talk behind your friend's back. It's not cool. And when you actually open up and talk to God about it, it's just more beautiful. I love how Job was looking out for his kids. He didn't know if they sin or not, but he still sacrificed a burnt offering for them, just in case they did sin. And that brings me to, it says, one of my Bible study things right here. Job probably lived during the days of the patriarchies or something like that. I cannot pronounce half of these. I apologize. So during Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, during that time, before God gave His written law to appointed priests to be religious leaders. During Job's day, a father was his family's religious leader because there were no priest to instruct him in God's laws. Job acted as the priest and offered sacrifices to God to ask forgiveness for any sins he and his family committed. This demonstrated that Job did not consider himself sinless. Job did this out of conviction and love for God, and not just because it was his role as the head of the house. And the question of it is, do you carry the spiritual duties because they're expected of you, or spontaneous from your heart of devotion? I love that because you can do stuff like sometimes, and I used to read my Bible, I would do it to get it out of the way. That's not good. It's not good just to do something just to get it out of the way. You need to do it because you want to. Same way, like the question asked, are you leading? Are you using the gifts? Are you being what God calls you to be because you want to be? Or because you need to be? Are you doing it because you're doing it just to get it out of the way? Or are you doing it that way you can say, I'm doing it for God, but you're really doing it for yourself? Or are you actually doing it for God? There's 2 different ways to live. There's for God, for yourself. You gotta be very careful on which path you tread along. Because sometimes it may feel like you're doing it for God, but you end up doing it for yourself. Because pride will sneak into your life, same with the ego, and cause destruction. Like Satan, pride snuck in his life, and look what happened to him. I mean, first sin ever committed was by Satan himself. So be careful on what you do in life. And remember to do it just for God. And remember, also, don't just do it to scratch a list off. Do it because you love to. Do it because you want to, not because you need to. There's a big difference on stuff you do in your life. Like I could go out and give a homeless person money, right? But I only do it to look good. That's not okay. I mean, but now somebody who does it now somebody goes out and does it to do it to help them or do it for God. That's a way better way to live life. Because you doing it for yourself is never going to get you anywhere in life. Like Job, he did everything for his family. He didn't have to go sacrifice a burnt offering for his family every time he thinks they sin, or every time they did sin. You know what I mean? He could have had them do it himself, but he still did it. And throughout the book of Job, he goes through many trials, more than I ever want to in my life. I would not want to do half that stuff. I think we all can agree. Because Job, I mean, see how many chapters of Job? About 42 chapters. And he goes through a trial almost every chapter. More than one trial. So, I think as you go out to today and throughout the rest of the week and next week, just learn to stop complaining. Learn to stop saying, why me? Why me? And start saying, because God chose me. God told me to do this. God told me to go on this path. And do it for God. Because the more you do it for yourself, the more you're going to complain. Because you're like, well, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. No, I don't really want to. So you complain about it. If something goes wrong in life, you complain. Stop complaining and be full of joy and be full of happiness, or not happiness. Be full of joy and be full of peace. And most importantly, just learn to look to God and look towards His love and His forgiveness throughout your life. Look for His mercy in your life too. Heck, He's very merciful to us when we do not deserve it. Trust me. I think we all can say amen to that one. But I love you guys, and I hope you guys have an amazing day tonight. And I will talk more about the health stuff going on and different video. I love you guys. Thank you guys for listening.